did he run and who was he running from?
Okay, 10 minutes.
All right.
Starting now.
Beautiful. Welcome, everybody, to a new spot we're calling 5 Minutes with an Eggy Superfan, where we spend about 10 minutes with a fan of the band Eggy. You don't have to be a fan of this show to be on it, but it sure helps. So make sure to like it and subscribe to help the algorithm, even though that made no sense whatsoever. We're rolling with it because we're not doing any cuts. So today we have on the phone Jesse Lang. Some of you may see Jesse on Facebook. He's everywhere out there. And so, Jesse, tell your fellow fans who you are, where you're from, and we'll get into the rest of it right after that.
Well, my name is Jesse Lang. I live in a suburb of Cleveland, Ohio called Strongsville. It's about 25 miles south. I buy cars for a living, and I travel a lot to the Northeast to do so. So
Okay.
it kind of makes it easy to catch a lot of shows since the band's from the Northeast.
Very cool. And so, when did you first start listening to the band?
I heard about them a lot in 2018 and 19, but I didn't really get a chance to go see them until an after party. Would have been the day before New Year's, 12/30/19. It was a twiddle after party for a New Year's Eve run at the Paradise Rock Club. It was a venue called Great Scott that's actually not open anymore.
If you still want to get down tonight, head over to Great Scott to check out Eggy with this mistake. Let's get it loud, really loud one more time for my favorite band. That was our second manager, everybody. Second favorite manager. Thank you, guys. So long that even my mama thinks that my mind is gone. But I ain't never trust a man that didn't deserve it. He be treated like a punk, you know that's unheard of. You better watch out you're talking and when you're walking, or you and your homies might be lying to choke. I really hate to trip,
Wow.
But I walked into Call Me Al and kind of stuck ever since.
Nice. Nice. And so, what really attracted you to the band? I mean, so first, an observation. I've heard a few people say that they became fans of the band or their first exposure to the band was at an after party show. So it seems like those really have some impact on people. And it was a twiddle after party, you said, right?
Yep.
And so what was it that made you want to go to this Eggy show?
Jam bands, they kind of prop each other up, and Twiddle did a real good job of propping Eggy up. They really liked him. They were good friends with him. They saw a great future with him. So actually, the members of the band are the ones who told me to check him out. So
okay, very cool. That is true, though. A lot of bands do promote each other like that, which definitely works. And so you say you traveled to see the band, and so what's the furthest you've gone?
Well, I mean, for an exclusive headlining show of Eggy, I would say Colorado,
Wow.
Georgia.
Yeah.
Those are probably the two furthest.
Yeah.
Minnesota.
Okay. That's a ways from Ohio for sure.
As an opening act, Washington, Oregon.
Wow. So you've seen him on the West Coast, huh?
Yeah, I think I'm 26 or 27 states in so far.
Woo. Oh, there's not many
Like,
people that from, east of the Mississippi that can claim seeing them on the West Coast, I don't think. So that's pretty cool.
well, you and me for sure.
And my wife and I haven't made it out there yet. We got as far as New Mexico and Idaho, but we never crossed over to those Pacific bordering states yet. But, there's always next year, right? And so,
Absolutely.
speaking of all that, you've seen a ton of shows. What's your most memorable show?
Harrisburg is right up there. Might be Pittsburgh from this past summer. That was an amazing show. Pittsburgh, Harrisburg, Minneapolis was really good in I believe 2023.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the ones that stick out the most.
And because you were there at those, and so they just really hang with you in memory.
I don't necessarily. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I don't really try. I try not to rate the shows that I didn't attend.
Yeah.
I like them, but I can't be I wasn't there. I didn't know what was going on. I don't feel it's fair for me to rate those shows. I definitely have my favorite shows that I didn't attend.
Okay. And
but,
so, yeah, speaking of that, you do rate shows, don't you? And you probably have more credibility than a lot of people considering how many shows you see in a year. And so outside of Eggy, how many live concerts do you see in a year on average about?
well, the last few years it's been around 100, and Eggy is probably a third of them.
100 shows a year. And so when you're not seeing Eggy, what other bands are filling in that space?
The last 2 years it's been Reprise, which is a Phish tribute. Tom Marshall put together.
Okay.
A Disco Biscuits, Billy Strings, Kitchen Dwellers. Those are probably the most notable ones.
Wow.
Mo, obviously, I've been listening to Mo, Umphrey's, and the Disco Biscuits for over 20 years.
Wow. Very cool. And so, all right, now we're getting towards the end of this. If you've watched or listened to the previous segments that I've done with other fans, then you know the next question that's coming. If you had the band in front of you, if you had all four of them lined up in a chair and they had your attention, you had theirs, what would be something that you might ask them if you could?
I feel like I've asked most of these questions to them already. I'm trying to think.
This proves it wasn't rehearsed, folks.
On purpose.
Yeah. You got Donnie looking you right in the eyes.
Donnie, we talk about baseball. Jake, we kind of talk about real life. Mike, just like life in general.
Yeah.
Mike and Alex, I don't talk to as much, but I don't know.
Nothing. All right.
Yeah,
I hear
what
ya.
the future is, but we talk about the future. That's been pretty important with the band,
Right.
What's going to happen going forward.
All right. So let me flip that script a little bit. So continuing the idea of you having their attention, what would you tell them? Like, what would you tell them? If you had one message you had to give them because you weren't going to see them again for a year, besides, hey man, I love you, going to miss you, what would you say to them?
Okay, going backpedaling to the last question.
Yeah.
I actually do know what I'd ask. I'd ask when they're going to play Illuminate for me, because I've asked for it about 30 times and I haven't got it yet. And I always get a smile and a laugh every time I ask. So
they are great at building the anticipation, aren't they?
I'll get it eventually.
Yeah.
When I don't ask.
That's right. Give them play exactly what they don't want to hear, right?
Yep.
All right. So what would you tell them?
I would tell them to continue playing what nobody wants to hear.
That's good. That's good.
I mean, it's you just do what you want if you're a musician. I don't think you should be. You got to take a little input from your fans, but I think it needs to be as organic and as real as it possibly can be.
Yeah, that's good advice, and I'm always fascinated by how people answer that question. So there's really no wrong answer,
The only way you're going to stick together is if you keep doing what you love. So You got to
True
keep doing
that. True that. It makes me wonder sometimes, like it's still there's so much work involved in the payoff is short term, not short term, but short lived on the stage, and I hope they know how much that they touch us all from time to time, but I think they do.
it.
Anyways,
The best way to do it is showing up and, you know,
that's right.
telling them that you enjoyed the show, I guess, really.
That's right. That's right. So just to wrap it up for everybody that has made it this far, Jesse was a minor celebrity to me when I first came to Green Eggs and Fam, a top contributor on the Facebook page, and I was new to Eggy. And the first time I saw him out in Buffalo, he was with Fluff, and I was scared of both of them. I thought they were like related to the band or something, and I didn't even realize how big or small the band was at that time. And so over the past couple of years, Jesse and I have become very good friends. Been in a text group together now for a couple of years, and Eggy does bring people together, man, I must say. So it's been a good ride. And with that said, Jesse, thank you very much for being on the phone with me tonight. And I'll have this out Wednesday as usual. And with that said, that about does it, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Shoot me a message if you want to be the next contestant on this here 5 Minutes with an Eggy. Oh, look at that. If you want to be next on this here show, shoot me a shout. Give me a message. With that, everybody, love y'all. Peace out.